Welcome to the Norwalk River, a cornerstone of geological history in southern Connecticut. Although the river is far from the largest in the state at approximately 21 miles long, it is a living testament to the forces that shape Connecticut's landscape, including glacial movement, tectonic shifts, and human interference. Unfortunately, the river's journey through 6 different municipalities, including the densely populated and industrial environments of Norwalk and New Canaan, means it is constantly being exposed to modern-day human impact and pollution. Efforts to curb the negative effects of human impact start here, with the Norwalk River Watershed Association and the Norwalk River Valley Trail in Wilton, Connecticut. This is the Norwalk River Valley Trail, a publicly and privately funded recreational trail with construction currently ongoing. Here in the heart of Wilton, much of the local trail is already completed, giving us a comprehensive look into the history of the Norwalk River. The trail serves as a go-to space for hikers, bikers, and nature enthusiasts living in and around the Wilton and Norwalk area. However, it also serves as a poignant reminder of how the Norwalk River, as well as the rest of our state, came to be geologically. Despite the man-made nature of the trail, its geological formation is readily apparent. We can see inklings of Connecticut's glacial influence marked all around the trail. Mixed sediment grouped together like these piles seen here are heavy indicators of glacial movement. This can be classified as glacial till, a mix of sediment resulting from moving and/or melting glaciers.
Imagine, if you will, a massive, larger-than-life ice sheet roaring across the land, picking up dirt, rocks, and other various forms of sediment as it journeys over here, depositing large boulders that can't be moved by man, as seen right here.
That's what happened millions of years ago all around Connecticut, and it's the simplest explanation as to why things like the glacial till we just saw and the boulders observed around the trail can be seen today. Yes, even massive boulders were susceptible to being carried by moving glaciers and deposited in places far from where they originated. Moreover, the large presence of metamorphic rocks such as gneiss and schist supports the idea that Connecticut was formed in part by tectonic activity, as the intense pressure and heat of moving plates transformed sediment into what we see today. Millions of years later, we see the result of the constant weathering and eroding of the soil that covered these metamorphic rocks, allowing us to see them on full display in the modern age. Throughout the trail, there is also a large presence of this gneiss and schist buried underneath other soils and sediment, or in other words, bedrock. In fact, this waterfall seen here is an excellent example of how to identify bedrock in a river environment. Waterfalls form when a river passes over rock that is more erosion resistant and is oftentimes layered over less resistant layers of rock. This disrupts the flow of the stream and creates a drop down which water continues to travel. The main feature of the trail is of course the Norwalk River, a beautiful encapsulation of Connecticut's geological history. Much like the surrounding area, this river was more than likely shaped by glacial activity. We can tell by the valley, or U-shape, observable on the river path, indicating glaciers may have moved in here, created the valley, and widened it as they receded. The river travels southward through this part of the trail, ultimately depositing in the river delta at Long Island Sound in Norwalk Harbor. You can tell a lot about a river just by looking at it. For example, without looking at an overhead map, we can tell the Norwalk River is a meandering stream rather than a braided one. Notice the singular path of the river, how the banks on either side are more so flat than steep, and how there isn't an overwhelming amount of sediment deposit. These are all key characteristics of a meandering stream, a type of stream that sees less erosion of its bank sides thanks to the slower, more gradual flow and movement of its water. On that note, it's important to recognize the critical nature of having a forested area over a river. Erosion and deposition rates are drastically lowered when there are trees around to block precipitation. And although there aren't any leaves to be seen right now, you can bet that in the spring and summertime, these trees, when foliated, are exceptional in providing shade cover, reducing evaporation rates in and around the river, and purifying rainwater as it passes through the many leaves.
Now that we've explored some of the river's geological history, let's start exploring what's being done to the river in the present day.
According to the official government website of Norwalk, Connecticut, the Norwalk River watershed is one of the first areas in Connecticut formed to protect the water quality of the Norwalk River. In this day and age, human impact on our environment is inevitable. Various organizations, such as the Norwalk River Watershed Association, are doing excellent work to ensure that such negative impact is kept to a minimum. In addition to restoration projects and extensive education on the importance of keeping our water clean, the NRWA conducts frequent tests on the water quality of the Norwalk River. Beyond human impact, the Norwalk River has historically been involved in some intense flooding events relating to the hydrological cycle. In fact, the Connecticut flood of 1955, one of the worst flooding events in state history, had an extreme impact on the Norwalk River in particular. This is partly why trails surrounding the river are so important, as to protect surrounding areas from damage and to protect the river from any resulting pollution caused by flood runoff. If there's anything to be taken away from this video, it's how we can contribute to the restoration of our natural land here in Connecticut. For more information on the Norwalk River, what organizations around Connecticut are doing to maintain the quality of our rivers and forests, and how you could help the initiative, visit norwalkct.gov or any of these other websites listed on the screen here. Thank you for watching.